It looks like shit. Oh my gosh, check that out. It's pretty dirty. But yeah, it was running. Why am I using toilet paper? Because it looks like shit. All right, that's how it's going to look with the new intake and carburetor. Why am I using toilet paper? Because it looks like shit. We were able to clean that little valley up quite a bit more than it was anyways. It looks like shit. Hey guys and girls, it's time to take this intake off and this ignition system and replace it with the better stuff that I have. So the brakes from the last video are working decent. I tested it rolling down the hill and it's stopped perfectly fine. I feel pretty confident about it. So now we're going to figure out what cylinder we're currently pointing at, and then from there I'm going to probably get a time lapse going of removing the intake, and yeah, then we're going to put the new one on and put it all back together, and maybe not today, maybe today and tomorrow, and then we're going to hopefully have a good smooth running vehicle. Let me show you this distributor real quick. Looks like I'm gonna need a flat tip screwdriver. Another one's back here. That should be it. Looks like the rotor is pointing. It's pointing right about here, whichever wire this is. May be number 2. Let's see. It's just a little advanced of number 2. That'll be close enough to get this thing to try to start when I put the HEI in. So following this wire, right? Following it, and there it is. Number 2, which is a you know, not correct wire, but whatever. Here it goes, see? Into here, we'll aim our wrench at it. I mean our screwdriver. Maybe I can't, maybe I'll use the bigger one just to illustrate. There we go. And then when I take the cap off, that's where the rotor's pointing. So, number 2, that's all we have to remember. And we don't have to worry about the rest of this wires and all that stuff because we're going to restart it. So all we need to know is the GM firing order 184366572, and we are on 2. So that means this next one over is 1. And what do you know? It's the one plugged into number 1. So anyways, we're pointed at number 2. We'll set the new distributor in, and wherever the rotor is pointing when we set it in will be number 2. So we don't have to worry so much about finding the right timing. It was close enough to run. It wasn't 180 off. It was just a few cylinders not actually firing. It's my guess, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna get get this camera set up and get the time lapse going, and we're gonna start removing stuff like nobody's business here. And I wish I had better valve covers, but I haven't bought any yet. I'm gonna get the air compressor going and blow off all these sticks and crap, and then I'm going to pull this whole intake off. Hopefully not drop anything down there like this piece of an old hose clamp. That could have been bad. That's an engine ruiner for sure. I'm just gonna grab a few things that I can see. Acorns and freaking sticks and God knows what else. All right. Brackets, more brackets. Oh my gosh, check that out. It's pretty dirty. But yeah, it was running. And we can see that those push rods are starting to clean themselves off, actually. Some of them got some shiny spots. So I'm going to manually remove some of this garbage. I'm not going to spray it down with a bunch of stuff right now. I'm going to manually remove a bunch of crap. And of course we're going to get some chrome valve covers and valve cover gaskets next and set the valves, but we're going to remove some of this crap out of here for sure. But we don't want it going down the oil pan, so we're just going to remove it physically. So I'm going to get that going. Those ports were just rusted shut right there. That's pretty amazing, but that's because the intake didn't have any cooling going through the back of the intake is my guess. Let me check that out on the cast iron intake over here. Yeah, as I suspected, no water passage here, so it starts to cavitate and eat on it. The bottom of this pan, yeah, this sludge and stuff will start breaking up if you like put it through some harder revs, you know, like we're going to when we start taking it down the road. So anyways, I'm gonna get that sucker cleaned up and then get back to the action. All right, that's how it's going to look with the new intake and carburetor. It's not really a new intake, it's a used intake that's cracked, but it should work. It only has damage up here by this water port, so I'm not too worried about it. If it leaks a little bit up there, then I'll know why, and I'll get it. Let me get that air compressor. So that's how it's going to look. I'm going to go ahead and pull it back off and show you what kind of progress we were able to make in the valley. I didn't go too crazy wasting time and materials on it, but I cleaned it up enough, I think. That thing is just annoying me. So this is going to be a pretty sweet setup here, I think. This 350 will probably come right to life. Anyways, let me pull this out of here. All right, hopefully you can see. We were able to clean that little valley up quite a bit more than it was anyways. The rest of that sludge should work its way out through a couple of oil changes, I would hope. And if not, well, if it leaks from this water passage over here because of that little crack in that intake, well, we'll clean it better when we get back to it. But for right now, I'm gonna get the gaskets all lined up on here and get ready to reinstall it. Gotta get me a pick after that hole right there. Why am I using toilet paper? Because it looks like shit. I'm just gonna put this fuel hose on and we're gonna call it a day here on this one. I'm running out of battery on the GoPro as it is. But I've been at this for several hours now. So hopefully that was enjoyable to watch. It wasn't enjoyable to do. Nah, it's enjoyable. But not in a way that you might be thinking. It's like you get that sense of accomplishment for taking an old vehicle that's basically left for dead and bring it back to life. Yeah, this hose is super stiff, but it's the only one I had. So that's what we're gonna use for right now. We'll test this baby out in the morning, give it a overnight to cure that RTV sealant that I put on there. Jesus. All right. Okay, we're just going to tighten this down because I didn't want there to be just raw gas just pouring out wherever. Tomorrow we have to put water in it and plug up the vacuum leaks and put a battery in it. And that battery's been working just fine in my F-150. So I'm going to get the battery out of the Camaro and charge that overnight and see if it will crank this baby over. I got that new battery cable to install as well. So we got work for tomorrow. But we could have this thing running if we get lucky and everything seals up proper. It's not looking too bad. Check it out. I'll zip tie those spark plugs out of the way, spark plug wires out of the way, and I'm gonna keep the old spark plugs in for right now. When I first crank it over, let those old spark plugs, you know, chew on that garbage that went down the, it might have went down the intake. So we don't want to ruin our brand new spark plugs. This bracket is still the wrong bracket. You can see it doesn't actually bolt to anything right here, but we'll figure that out later for the alternator. So thanks for watching. I think it's going to be a pretty short video, although I took a long time to do all the work, but I did it all on time lapse for you guys so you don't get too bored. And go ahead and like and subscribe, and probably in the next 1 or 2, maybe 3 videos we'll be driving this thing around the block. We still got a bad bearing on that wheel that needs to be addressed, and I only have front brakes and they're still manual brakes, not power brakes, but we're gonna get those things in time. Thank you.